Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this little video I just want to take a look at some sort of news that's developing this afternoon over Southern Water this time. Not Thames Water for a change, but nonetheless highlighting the very difficult situation that the current government are in. But again, whatever happens here, what I really want is for people to get it into their heads that this has ultimately been caused by privatization. That is what has caused this. So what's going on today? So it says here, I'll just read out this little snippet of a report. Steve Reed, the Environment Secretary, that's Labour's Environment Minister, is being asked by a water company, this is Southern Water, to allow sweeping water use bans, including the filling of non-domestic swimming pools and ponds. Southern Water has asked Reed for permission to extend its hosepipe ban. There's been a few hosepipe bans because of the dry summer, including in my area, although this is not my area, to a more severe non-essential use ban. What it would, for example, it's saying here, it would prohibit businesses from using excessive water, including cleaning vehicles, boats, aircraft, railway rolling stock with hosepipes, the cleaning of any window or exterior part of a non-domestic building or a non-domestic wall. Basically, using a hosepipe for almost anything. Anything that's not considered absolutely essential. So it's get the mop and bucket out to clean your van type of thing. Now, what has caused this? Ultimately, like just in isolation, what has caused it is we've had a very dry summer. You can ask people, particularly around Iron, people go, it's been raining every other day, what's going on? Doesn't necessarily help when we've had such a dry summer, and also if it doesn't fall on the reservoirs, that doesn't help at all. That comes on to something else I'm going to talk about in a minute. And that's the here and now. I mean, if you don't restrict the use of water, then what they're saying is there's a risk we might not be able to get water to homes, that we could actually have a proper drought where you can't even have it for essential purposes, which is of course unthinkable. Absolutely unthinkable that that would happen. So what has caused this? Ultimately, what has caused this is the fact that in 35 years of privatisation, not a single water company, privatised water company in England, this is England, remember, because it's nationalised still in Scotland and it's a not-for-profit in Wales, in England, not a single one commissioned a new reservoir. And also they allowed leaky pipes. They weren't really fixing leaky pipes except when they absolutely had to. So we're first of all not collecting enough water because it rains. I'll tell you something, it rains in this country. Let me tell you, we're well known for it, right? Even the Russian bots know it rains in this country. But we haven't been collecting enough of it, and we haven't been preserving enough of it. We've been allowing too much of it to leak away. That's the problem. And that is a problem caused by privatisation, because we were building reservoirs when the government managed our water. In fact, one reservoir was built whilst water, in those roughly 35 years of water privatisation, there was one reservoir built because it was commissioned by the government before it was privatised, right? It was just a completion. It just happened to be completed after it was privatised. That is ultimately the problem. Now, the government have come in now, the new Labour government have said, you've now got to build reservoirs, you've got to deal with leaks, you're not allowed to just, dump pollution on dry days, things like that. So we've got a government that's got all the right moves now, they're taking it seriously. But there's a sense in which it's a bit too late. I have immense sympathy for Steve Reed, because what do? They're requesting this more severe hosepipe ban. And another thing, which I'm going to come to in one moment, and it's like, well, there might be an extent to which he's forced into it, because you cannot allow stocks to run, of water to run so low that people cannot have it for essential purposes. So, okay, he might, I don't know whether but he might have to go ahead with that and agree to that. And the problem with a hosepipe ban is non-compliance, of course. And what makes non-compliance more likely? First of all, if it goes on for a very long time, the hosepipe ban we have in the Yorkshire area, Yorkshire water area, is indefinite. It could go all the way to winter. We don't know. So if you say there's a hosepipe ban for a couple of weeks, people go, okay, right, okay. If you say, well, it might go on for months, it might not, but it might go on for months. then people go, well, yeah, I'm not happy about that. They're more likely to be tempted to like just use one anyway. The other thing is if you make it, the more restrictive you make it, the more likely people are to just not comply. So that's a huge problem. Then there's another problem. The Liberal Democrats are not happy about this with very good reason. So it says here, the Liberal Democrats have expressed alarm at the news that Southern Water, so as well as applying for a more severe hosepipe ban, they are also applying for a drought order that would allow them, because remember this is twofold. There are private water companies, because they haven't been fixing pipes properly, there's lots of leaks, so they lose lots of water. Because they haven't been building reservoirs, they're not able to collect and store as much water as they should be able to. And it says here they're applying for a drought order that would allow it to draw larger quantities of water than usual from the river test. And the Liberal Democrat spokesperson has said that this river is home to a lot of endangered species like salmon and otters, and it could also damage the chalk stream and local wildlife. Now, if that's true, what Southern Water are proposing here is to cause further environmental damage, further damage to our natural environment. You know, something that when you destroy it, it's an inheritance of the country that once you destroy it, your wildlife, you can't get it back. In order to what? In order to what? They will say, of course, to make sure they've got enough water for people's essential needs. But the reality is, would they need to do this if 35 years ago these newly privatised companies had taken the development of their infrastructure seriously and revitalised, as they were supposed to, the ancient, well, not ancient, but old Victorian infrastructure, to make sure they were still building new reservoirs, to make sure they were fixing leaking pipes and things like that? Would they now have to be doing this? I think the answer to that is no, they would not. And that's what I hope. I mean, as I said, I have immense sympathy for Steve Reid, not just because he's a Labour minister, but because he's a Labour minister, or any minister, who's trying to take this seriously now, and he's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Because we can't turn back the clock. We can try and make sure we fix things for the future, but we can't do it overnight. And in the here and now, we have a shortage of water in lots of regions of England. But I just hope that whatever he has to agree to, and he may have to agree to some things, if not all of it, the message rings out loud and clear. The reason we're in this situation is because private water companies didn't build new reservoirs, didn't fix their leaky pipes, didn't invest in infrastructure. But there we are. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to click the subscribe button to stay notified of further content. Till next time, I'll see you later.